All right, let's take a look at this beast of a lens, the Tamron 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8. Now, I got this lens pretty recently, and I've been, trying to work it through its paces, learn all the ins and outs of it, and I've got to say I am a huge fan already. It hasn't come off my camera since I got it, and I'm exploring new use cases. I primarily shoot video, but I'm also learning to shoot still photos and just kind of doing some practice on that, and this lens has been a game changer already. I'm going to show you some of the features we got here. You've got several of these programmable buttons that you can program to kind of do whatever you need them to do. There's one on the very bottom, which I haven't programmed that one, and I've heard from some others that it's kind of too easy to press when you're using the lens and you're trying to take your shots. It's too easy to press that one, so you don't have to program that one. If you do map something to that, make sure that it's something that's not going to ruin your shoot if you accidentally press it, because I believe that that's something that happens quite a bit. And then there's a key here, and then a key here on the top as well. It comes with your lens hood, which is nice. It's got that nice locking mechanism on it, so it stays put. And go ahead and leave that on there. And we'll take a look real quick at it. It's just been an incredible lens for me so far. Very crisp shots, really quick autofocus, has been really handy, has been able to peg the faces and the eyes. I've got it mounted to a Sony a6400, so it's a Sony E-mount, but I know that they make this for other camera systems as well. Ultimately, it's been a huge asset to my kit so far, and I think that it's going to be my go-to lens for some time now. It's also got those custom switches that you can use there, map those kind of however you need, then as well as a switch designated for the focus or autofocus and manual focus. And then also, let me go ahead and take this lens hood back off. It's got your manual focus ring right there, and then this is your zoom ring. Now it's got a lock switch right there, which is nice, so when it's packed in my bag, or maybe I just want to keep it on 35, I've got that locked. But once you unlock that, then it unlocks this zoom ring, and you've got all of this range. Now 35 to 150 millimeters is a great range. It's plenty to get those nice wide shots, and then it's 150 millimeters is tight enough to get a good close-up, depending on what you're working with. And then the selling factor for me is I was looking at several of these lenses that had a 70 to 200 or even something that was a little closer to the 35 to 150. I don't remember exactly what it was, but the problem I kept running into is that the aperture would get up to like 5.6 at those larger, or those farther focal lengths, but I really wanted to keep as close to a low aperture as I could. I do some shooting at events and things like that, and sometimes in some pretty low light situations. Now it's not a static or a fixed aperture at 2.0, but once I get up into the 150 millimeter range, the 2.8 has been doing great for me. Now, depending on your use case, you may need that fixed aperture at 2.0, or some of the prime lenses are 1.8, 1.2, even lower. But for me, the 2 to 2.8 has been exactly what I needed so far. Now, I can imagine some scenarios where I would need a lower aperture at those focal lengths, but so far it's been the perfect purchase for me. It's been exactly what I needed it to be, and I would ultimately highly recommend the Tamron 35 to 150 for your kit. Last thing I want to mention is it has that C port right there, and you can plug that directly into the Tamron, plug that directly into your computer and use the Tamron platform to update the firmware. One more thing, I guess, I did see several reviews before I bought it. Several reviews that said it's a great lens, but it's very heavy. And I was like, okay, I'm a strong guy. This is not going to be a big deal. No, this is a pretty heavy lens. I have a feeling that I can't ever hold just my camera, because it just feels like it's so off balance. So I constantly am having to hold the actual base of the lens, and it is a pretty heavy lens. Now, not to say that that should prohibit you from checking it out, because again, all of those other things that I said, I would stand by, but it is a pretty heavy lens. So get ready if you're running around at a wedding or some sort of other event, or you're doing some sort of long style shoot. It is pretty heavy. Maybe get a good strap with the cushion on the back or something like that. But ultimately, highly recommended. I would say if you are looking for a great all-in-one, never leave your camera lens, the Tamron 35 to 150 2.0 to 2.8 might be your one. Check it out, see what you think.